Okay, good afternoon. Today I will revise again the basic theory of this gear tooth failure, force analysis, minimum number of teeth, and hunting of tooth. Therefore, first is gear tooth failures. Gear tooth failures. In that, first is breakage of tooth, and second is surface destruction. Therefore, this first I will tell. Suppose this is the gear tooth. This is one gear tooth, and this is another gear tooth. Now, when the two gear teeth are here at the point of contact, therefore, suppose this hardness of this gear tooth, okay, today we will see basic theory of this gear tooth failures and other related theory so that you can understand. Now you just see now we will see gear tooth failures. In that, first is breakage of the tooth. Therefore, I will draw here two gear teeth meshing with each other. Therefore, suppose this is the gear tooth of wheel and this is the gear tooth of pinion and this is the point of contact. Now, this breakage of the gear tooth. What is the breakage of the gear tooth? In Marathi, it is called as modne, tupne. Therefore, when this gear tooth will exert force here like this, gear tooth of the wheel. Wheel means bigger gear and pinion means smaller gear. I will draw here. This is suppose wheel and this small is pinion. Always remember, this is known as wheel and this is known as pinion. This is known as pinion. Therefore, when the two gear tooth or the gear teeth are in contact with each other, gear tooth of one gear, that is wheel, will exert force on the gear tooth on the pinion. Therefore, what will happen if suppose surface hardness of this pinion gear tooth is less? Therefore, what will happen? Here, this gear tooth is going to break like this. Just I will draw here, then you will understand. Suppose this is the gear tooth Now, because of this force exerted by the gear tooth of the wheel on the gear tooth of the pinion, there are chances that this gear tooth is going to break at the corner. Like this, breakage of tooth will be there. Now, when this breakage of tooth will happen, when the surface hardness of that gear tooth is less as compared to the desired surface hardness. Therefore, when this force will exceed the hardness of the other gear tooth, at that time this breakage of the tooth will take place. Therefore, this is known as breakage of the gear tooth. Now, next is the surface destruction. Next is the surface destruction. Therefore, once again I will draw the gear tooth here. Therefore, this is known as face and this is known as flank. Now, whenever two gear teeth are in contact with each other, contact takes place in the face region only. Contact takes place in the face region only. Therefore, whatever this tip of one gear tooth will be there, that will be up to this face only. This middle line is known as pitch surface. Middle line is known as pitch surface. Therefore, when this surface destruction will happen, surface destruction will happen when surface hardness, of gear tooth is less, that is at some point hardness is more, at some point hardness is less, again at some point hardness is more, some point hardness is less. Therefore, this surface hardness, what will happen if surface hardness is low? Here small pits will be formed like this. Pits means small holes. Pits means small holes. Like this, small holes will be formed on the surface. Therefore, these small holes formed on the surface is known as surface destruction. Sometimes holes will be of bigger size. Sometimes holes will be of bigger size. Therefore, that is known as destructive pitting. Therefore, now we will see the different examples of surface destruction. Now, first is abrasive wear. First is abrasive wear. Second is corrosive wear. Third is initial pitting. Fourth is destructive pitting. And fifth is scoring. Therefore, now we will see the first abrasive wear. Therefore, what is meant by abrasive wear, that I will explain here. Abrasive wear means what? Whenever any foreign particle in the lubricant, such as dirt, rust, or weld spatter of metal debris, will be trapped between the two gear teeth. Suppose now I will draw the two gear teeth here, like this once again. Now here that small particle will be there like this. Now this is the particle. This is known as particle. Therefore, if this particle from the lubricant, such as dirt, this is of what? Dirt. Rust. Rust means what? Rusting. Rusting means corrosion. Or weld spatter. Weld spatter. Therefore, whenever this small particle is going to be trapped up in between the two gear tooth or in between the two gear teeth, and when these gears are going to rotate, when the two gears are going to rotate, therefore what will happen? What will happen? Therefore, this gear tooth particle, this particle of dirt, rust, and weld spatter, this will also rotate along with these gears, and there are chances that this particle will scratch on the surface of the gear. Means like this scratching will be there. Particle is going to scratch. These are known as scratches. Particles will scratch on the surface of the gear. Therefore, this type of wear is known as abrasive wear. This type of wear is known as abrasive wear. Now, this can be reduced by filtering of the oil, using high velocity lubricant, and increasing the surface hardness. Increasing the surface hardness. Therefore, you just see this gear, two gears are in contact with each other. Now you can see these scratches are there like this. These scratches are there on this surface of the gear tooth or gear teeth. Therefore, this is known as abrasive wear. This is known as abrasive wear. Now, next is corrosive wear. Next is corrosive wear. Now you are knowing that what is meant by corrosion. Corrosion means what? Whenever that oxygen is going to chemically react, or chemical action of oxygen will be there on the surface of the gear, or whatever on the surface of the anything which contains iron or steel. Therefore, that iron means what? If that oxygen is going to chemically react, or chemical action of oxygen will be there with the surface of the gear tooth. Therefore, what will happen? Chemical reaction will take place and that iron oxide will form. Chemical reaction will take place and iron oxide will form. And therefore, because of that iron oxide you are knowing, iron oxide means it is nothing but corrosion. In Marathi, it is called as gans. Surface का होतो गंज तो. Therefore, here in this PPT, you are observing that this corrosion of the gears takes place. Now, why the corrosion of the gear takes place? What are the causes? Due to insufficient lubrication. We are knowing that corrosion phenomenon acts, or corrosion phenomenon takes place due to insufficient lubrication at the point of contact. Therefore, the corrosion of the tooth surface is caused by corrosive elements such as extreme pressure additives present in the lubricating oils and foreign materials due to external contamination. What is happening? These elements attack the tooth surface, or these elements are going to chemically react with the tooth surface, and what it will happen? The whole surface or part of that surface is going to be corroded. Now, because of this corrosion, what is happening? The small particles in terms of microns, small particles in terms of microns are getting removed from the surface of that gear tooth. Therefore, that is known as corrosive wear. Therefore, how we can reduce the corrosive wear? We can reduce the corrosive wear by enclosing the gearbox, or by enclosing that gears with proper enclosure, and also selecting proper extreme pressure additives and replacing the lubricant at regular intervals. Now you are knowing that whenever we are doing servicing of our two-wheeler and four-wheeler, whenever we are doing servicing of our two-wheeler and four-wheeler, therefore at that time what is happening? We are going to replace the lubricant from the gearbox. We are going to replace the lubricant from the gearbox. Therefore, why we are replacing the lubricant? Whenever you are replacing the lubricant, you just observe the color of that lubricant in the gearbox. The color of the lubricant becomes black due to continuous use. Due to continuous use. Therefore, That's why we are replacing the lubricant. Now you are knowing that whenever lubricant is new, its color is either red or yellow. Its lubricant, that color of the lubricant is either red or yellow. You are knowing which lubricants are used in the two-wheeler or four-wheeler. That Castrol, then Vidal is there, then HP Racer is there, then Bharat Petroleum's lubricant is there. Therefore, these are the companies which are producing or which are manufacturing or which are producing the lubricants. Therefore, what we have to do? We have to regularly replace the lubricants. Also, there should be proper lubrication at the points of contact. Also, we can provide the enclosure and we can select proper extreme pressure additives so that gear surface will not get corroded. Therefore, this is known as corrosive wear. This is known as corrosive wear. Now, next is surface destruction. Next is surface destruction. In that, next wear and tear phenomenon is nothing but initial pitting. Next wear and tear phenomenon is initial pitting. Now you are observing that this is the gear tooth and this is the face of the gear tooth. Therefore, initial pitting means what? There will be small holes. Small holes will be formed on the gear tooth surface. Small holes will be formed on the gear tooth surface. Therefore, this is known as initial pitting. Now, why this occurs? You are knowing that gears are used continuously. Means gears are in use continuously. In case of machines, you are knowing lathe machine, milling machine, drilling machine, or whatever, many machines are there where gears are used. Also, in case of two-wheeler, four-wheeler, gears are used. That means what? These gears are in continuous use. Therefore, when anything is in continuous use, there sometimes that gear teeth reaches their fatigue limit. Fatigue म्हणजे काय? In Marathi it is called as दमणे. म्हणजे कधी कधी अशी वेळ येते त्या गियर टूथ सरफेसची जी स्ट्रेंथ आहे त्याला एंड्रोन स्ट्रेंथ म्हणतात. एंड्रोन्स मीन्स व्हॉट? टू absorb the ability to absorb shock and vibrations. Ability to absorb shock and vibration. Therefore, that endron strength decreases after years of using. After years of using of that gears. Therefore, what will happen? Because of this, that gear tooth, small holes will be formed on the gear tooth surface. See that these small holes will be formed on the gear tooth surface. Initial pitting is a localized phenomenon characterized by small pits at high spots. Therefore, initial pitting is caused by the errors in tooth profile, surface irregularities, and misalignment. Initial pitting is caused by surface irregularities, misalignment, and tooth profile. What is meant by surface irregularity? Therefore, I will draw here gear tooth. Suppose this is the gear tooth. This is the gear tooth. Therefore, surface irregularity means what? That surface finish or surface roughness. Surface roughness of gear tooth will be more. Surface roughness of the gear tooth will be more. Therefore, because of this initial pitting will take place. Initial pitting will take place. Also, misalignment. Misalignment means what? There will not be any proper alignment between the two gear tooth. There will not be any proper alignment between two gear teeth. Therefore, that is nothing but misalignment. Errors in tooth profile. What is the errors in tooth profile? Errors in tooth profile means what? Now we are knowing that this gear tooth profile is there. This is the curve. This curve is known as involute curve. This curve is known as involute curve. Therefore, there are two curves are there to manufacture this profile. First is involute curve and second is cycloidal curve. Therefore, if there will be some error in manufacturing this involute tooth profile, means what? Sometimes gear tooth profile will be like this. Will be like this. Means there will be some error, uneven surface will be there on the surface, on the face of the gear tooth. Uneven surface will be there. Therefore, because of this unevenness, there are chances that these small spots will be formed on the face of the gear tooth. Therefore, this is known as initial pitting. Therefore, what are the how to reduce this initial pitting? First is by precise machining of gears. By precise machining of gears and their correct alignment so that load is uniformly distributed across the full face width and the dynamic load is reduced. Load is uniformly distributed over the entire face width. You are knowing this is known as face width. This distance, this whole distance is known as face width of the gear tooth. Therefore, load will be uniformly distributed over the face width. And dynamic load is reduced. Therefore, these are the corrective actions of the initial pitting. Now, next is destructive pitting. Next is destructive pitting. Now, what is meant by destructive pitting? If you are observing, in case of destructive pitting, these holes are of bigger size on the face width of the gear tooth or on the face of the gear tooth. See that these holes, whatever these holes are there, the size of the holes or size of these spots is more. Size of the holes or size of the spots is more in case of this destructive pitting. You also see here, this is the destructive pitting. Size of the holes on the face of the gear tooth. Therefore, you also see here, this is the how the hole size or that blind holes, you can say that holes also, the size of the holes is more in case of destructive pitting, and that's why it is called as destructive pitting. Why destructive pitting? Because size of the hole is more as compared to size of the holes in case of initial pitting. See that in case of initial pitting, size of the hole is less. See that, or diameter of the hole. See that this is nothing but initial face pitting. Size of the hole is less as compared to size of the hole in case of destructive pitting. Therefore, in case of destructive pitting, size of the hole is more. And that's why it is known as destructive pitting. Now, how destructive pitting will occur? First of all, initial pitting will occur. That is, first of all, size of the hole will be small, and then after continuous use, size of the hole increases due to increase in force or due to decrease in surface endurance strength or surface hardness of the gear tooth. Therefore, destructive pitting is a surface fatigue failure. Destructive pitting is a surface fatigue failure which occurs when the load on the gear tooth exceeds the surface endurance strength of the gear material. When the load on the gear tooth exceeds the surface endurance strength of the gear material. This type of failure is characterized by pits which continue to grow. Pits means in Marathi it is called as khadda or khadde. This type of failure is characterized by pits which continue to grow, resulting in complete destruction of the tooth surface. which continue to grow, resulting in complete destruction of the tooth surface. In some cases, this may even break the tooth permanently. In some cases, this may even break the tooth permanently. This type of failure can be avoided. This type of failure can be avoided by ensuring that the wear strength of the entire gear tooth is more than the sum of the static and dynamic loads. This type of failure can be avoided by ensuring that wear strength. Wear strength is what? It is the ability of the gear tooth to resist its wear. To resist its wear. Therefore, wear strength should be more than static and dynamic load. Static load means which load? It is nothing but tangential load. That I will explain in the force analysis. Static load means tangential load. Dynamic load means what? Whenever two gears are in contact with each other. Whenever two gears are in contact with each other and they are in motion. They are in motion. Therefore, at the point of contact. Therefore, at the point of contact, this load is acting, and since the gears are in motion, that type of load is known as dynamic load. Therefore, what to do? To avoid destructive pitting, we can increase the surface hardness of the gears. We can increase the surface hardness of the gears. Now, how to increase the surface hardness? Surface hardness can be increased by different methods. Carburizing method. Carburizing means we can insert carbon here on the surface of the gear tooth. Then nitriding method is there. Nitriding method means what? We can diffuse or we can introduce nitrogen on the surface of the gear material. Means these are the different methods of surface hardening. Then flame hardening is there. Then cyaniding is there. All these processes you are going to study in metallurgy, that is in heat treatment chapter. Therefore, this is nothing but destructive pitting. Destructive pitting takes place due to whatever that initial fittings are there, pits, that pits are going to grow. That is diameter or size of that pits is going to increase. And at some point, what will happen? If that gear tooth force will be more, at some point that gear tooth will break also. Therefore, this is the limitation, or this is the disadvantage of this destructive pitting. Therefore, to avoid destructive pitting, what we have to do? We have to increase the surface hardness of the gear. We have to increase the surface of hardness of the gear by using an appropriate heat treatment process. By using an appropriate heat treatment process. Now next is scoring. Next is scoring. Therefore, scoring means what? Now I will draw the again here two gear teeth in contact with each other. Now see that this is the point of contact. This is the point of contact. Therefore, what is the scoring? Now suppose sometimes lubrication will not be proper at the point of contact. Lubrication will not be proper at the point of contact. Therefore, what will happen? If lubrication will not be there, what will happen? Due to large pressure existing at the point of contact, we are knowing that in gear tooth, motion is partly sliding and partly rolling. Gear tooth motion is partly sliding and partly rolling. Sliding is what? This gear tooth surface, these two gear teeth, they will slide against each other and they will roll also. Roll means rotating motion. Roll means rotating motion. Therefore, at the point of contact, what will happen? If lubrication is not proper, this frictional heat is generated due to sliding motion. Therefore, that frictional heat will be more. Frictional heat will be more, and what it will do, because of that heat, the surface of the gear tooth or face of the gear tooth is going to burn. Face of the gear tooth is going to burn. Burning of that gear tooth face takes place due to high frictional heat or due to improper lubrication. Therefore, because of this burning of the gear tooth, what is going to happen? Every time that gear tooth surface will burn at the point of contact. Now you are knowing that in case of gear, there is a line contact between two gear teeth. Line contact exists between two gear teeth. Line contact exists. Therefore, according to that line or along that line, see that here, this burning of the gear tooth takes place here. If you see the surface of this gear tooth in the diagram, burning of the gear tooth takes place. Now, if burning will take place, what is going to happen? That material is going to be removed. Material is burn means काय होतं? Material जळतं म्हणजे काय होतं? If that material is going to be removed from the surface of the gear tooth, therefore this much amount of material gets removed along the surface of the gear tooth. Now you just say this phenomenon is not happening suddenly. एकदमच हा phenomenon at a time होत नाही. It takes very long time, because now when the gearbox is initially new, there is proper lubrication. Now after continuous use, and if we will not provide the lubrication, that metal to metal contact takes place and dry contact is there. Dry contact means no lubrication, and because of dry contact and metal to metal contact, friction is generated and frictional heat is generated, and because of that frictional heat, the gear surface burns. The gear surface burns. Therefore, that is known as scoring failure. See that I will read this. The oil film between the gear teeth, may break down under excessive surface pressure, high sliding velocity, and inadequate supply of lubricant. This results in generation of excessive frictional heat and overheating of the contacting surfaces of gear teeth. This may lead to metal to metal contact. Now, scoring is a stick slip phenomenon in which alternate welding and shearing takes place rapidly at high spots. Welding and shearing takes place means what? That gear tooth surface, sometimes they are going to stick to each other. Or weld means jodne. Therefore, these two gear tooth surfaces are going to stick to each other, and if one gear tooth will exert force on another gear tooth, that sliding motion, therefore at that time overheating of the gear tooth surfaces is there, and surface will burn, and this will increase the wear faster. Therefore, how to control the scoring? Scoring can be controlled by selecting proper surface speed. Scoring can be controlled by selecting proper surface speed, then surface pressure and flow rate of lubricant to keep the temperature of contacting surfaces within permissible limits. Scoring can be controlled by selecting proper surface speed, then surface pressure and flow rate of lubricant to keep the temperature of contacting surfaces within permissible limit. Therefore, the bulk temperature of lubricant can be reduced. Bulk temperature of the lubricant can be reduced by providing fins on the gearbox, air cooling by a fan, or circulating cold water. Therefore, this is the scoring phenomenon. Now, next point is gear materials. Next point is gear materials. Therefore, you are knowing that gears are widely used in automobile industries. Then in practice, you are knowing that gears are used in case of machines also, that is lathe machine, drilling machine, milling machine, and various types of machines are there. There we can use gears. Also, gears are used in toys also. Gears are used in CD drive of laptop or CD drive of this central processing unit of computer. Therefore, what is happening? What is happening when this, or depending upon the type of application, depending upon the type of application, depending on the type of application, depending on the type of application, we can use different gear materials. Now that type of application depends on the load carrying capacity. Type of application depends on the load carrying capacity or the torque transmission capacity. Or the torque transmission capacity or power transmission capacity of the gears. Therefore, what are the desirable properties we have to take into account while selecting the gear material? Therefore, first of all, we'll see what are the desirable properties. First is the load carrying capacity. First is the load carrying capacity of the gears. Now, load carrying capacity means what? The maximum load the gear tooth can carry. The maximum load the gear tooth can carry, that is known as load carrying capacity. Therefore, there are different loads are there: static load, dynamic load, and fluctuating load. Static load, dynamic load, and fluctuating load. Therefore, it depends upon the ultimate tensile strength or yield strength of the gear material. It depends upon the ultimate tensile strength or yield strength of the gear material. Now, this fluctuating load or fatigue load, it depends upon endurance strength of the gear material. It depends on the endurance strength of the gear material. Therefore, first point we have to consider, that is load carrying capacity. Second is wear rating or wear strength. Wear strength decides the dimensions of the gears. Now already we have seen different types of wear phenomenon. Therefore, this scoring we have seen, then destructive pitting we have seen, this initial pitting we have seen. Therefore, these are the major wear phenomenons in case of gears. Therefore, if This phenomenon will not occur. What we have to do? जर हे phenomenon आपल्याला नको पाहिजे, these three types of failure, we don't want that these three types of failures should occur in case of gear. Therefore, what we have to do? We have to increase the surface hardness of the gear. We have to increase the surface hardness of the gear. We have to give the proper lubrication. We have to give the proper lubrication. Therefore, because of these three main types of failures, that is initial pitting, destructive pitting, and scoring, that wear and tear of the gear tooth surface takes place. Wear and tear of the gear tooth surface takes place. Therefore, to avoid wear and tear of the gear tooth surface, what we have to do? We have to use various types of alloying elements. We have to use various types of alloying elements in that basic material, that is maybe cast iron or maybe steel material. Therefore, that wear strength can be increased by considering different alloying materials, then grain size of the material, then percentage carbon, then surface hardness. Also, sufficient endurance strength. Sufficient endurance strength to avoid failure due to destructive pitting. Sufficient endurance strength to avoid failure due to destructive pitting. Endurance strength means fatigue strength. Endurance strength means fatigue strength. Next is for high power transmission. The sliding velocities are very high and the material should have low coefficient of friction to avoid scoring. Therefore, next point is, if we want to transmit higher powers means what? That value of the power may be greater than 20 kilowatt or maybe greater than 10 kilowatt. That is, gears are used for power transmission above 10 kilowatt. Then if that much amount of power we want to transmit, what is going to happen? At that time, that surface speed or that sliding velocity is very high. Sliding velocity is very high, and at that time the material must have low coefficient of friction. Material must have low coefficient of friction. Therefore, what is the low coefficient of friction? What will happen? Because of high coefficient of friction, more frictional heat is generated. Because of high coefficient of friction, more frictional heat is generated, and because of that more frictional heat, again their scoring or burning of the gear tooth surface will take place. Burning means what? It is not desired phenomenon. Burning is not desired phenomenon. Therefore, this material should have low coefficient of friction to avoid scoring. Now next is amount of thermal distortion or warping during heat treatment. Amount of thermal distortion or warping due to heat treatment. Now what is by thermal distortion? Thermal distortion means what? Now I will draw here gear tooth surface, then you will understand. Suppose this is the gear. Now, this is the gear tooth. This is the gear tooth. What is my thermal distortion? That surface becomes uneven. Surface becomes uneven. You are knowing that. Warping means what? तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, आपण घरात पापड भाजतो. जेव्हा पापड आपण चुलीवर किंवा गॅसवर भाजतो किंवा स्टोव्ह वरती, तेव्हा तो पापड कसा असा वाकडा तिकडा होतो. Therefore, that same phenomenon will take place out to that of this gear tooth surface. that gear tooth surface will become uneven. Gear tooth surface will become uneven. That is nothing but thermal distortion will be there or warping takes place. Therefore, to avoid that, what we have to do? We can use alloy steels as compared to plain carbon steels. Now, these are the different gear materials we will see. First is for large size gears. For large size gears, which material we are going to use? For large size gears, we are going to use gray cast iron. Gray cast iron of different grades. Therefore, gray cast iron is denoted by different grades like EFG 200, EFG 260, EFG 350. EFG means flake graphite. EFG means flake graphite. Therefore, these large size gears, why gray cast iron material is used? Because cast iron material is cheap or it is low cost material as compared to alloy steel material. Then it is producing less noise. It is producing less noise as compared to steel gears. Next is good wear resistance. This flake graphite or gray cast iron material is having good wear resistance, and also it is having poor tensile strength. Why it is known as poor tensile strength? Because this gray cast iron material consists of these flakes like this. These are known as graphite flakes. These are known as graphite flakes. Therefore, these flakes are good in compression but bad in tension, or good in compression and they are having less tensile strength. Therefore, they are having good in compression is good compressive strength and less tensile strength. And that's why their drawback is poor strength. Poor strength means poor tensile strength. Good wear resistance, less noise as compared to steel gears, low in cost. Next is case hardened steel. Next is case hardened steel. Now already I have told you that. Again, I will draw the gear tooth. Again, I will draw gear tooth. Now, what is in the case hardened steel? This is the pitch surface element. This is the flank. And this is the face. Therefore, already I have told you that when two gears are in contact with each other, they are in contact along this face region only. They are in contact along this face region only. Therefore, we can increase the hardness of this face region. That is nothing but surface hardness. Surface hardness is what? That hardness up to 1 or 2 mm. We can increase hardness of the gear tooth up to 1 mm or 2 mm from the surface to the inside of the material. Therefore, this many case hardening methods are there: flame hardening, case carburizing, nitriding. Like this, case hardening methods are there. Therefore, because of this case hardening, what is going to happen? We can resist the wear and tear of the gear tooth surface. We can resist the wear and tear of the gear tooth surface due to initial fitting and destructive fitting. Due to initial fitting and destructive fitting. Therefore, best combination of wear resisting hard surface together with ductile and shock absorbing core. Here surface is hard, but here core means central part. Core remains ductile, and also if ductile is there, you are knowing the characteristic of ductile material that it can absorb high shocks before failure. Therefore, we can use case hardened steel as a gear material. And what is meant by this? EFG 200, EFG 260, EFG 350. EFG means flake graphite. This 200 means ultimate tensile strength of this cast iron material, that is in Newton per mm square. Then FG 260 means 260 Newton per mm square. Its tensile strength will be there. FG 350 means 350 Newton per mm square. Its tensile strength will be there. Or ultimate tensile strength, SUT value is there for this flake graphite or gray cast iron material. Now next is plain carbon steel. Next is plain carbon steels. Therefore, these plain carbon steels are used for medium duty applications. Plain carbon steels are used for medium duty applications. Now, what are the main carbon steels? That is 50C8, 45C8, then 45C4, etc. Therefore, 50C8 and 45C8 or 45C4 means what? That carbon percentage is 50%, or that carbon percentage is 45%, or carbon percentage is 45% or 40%. Therefore, we can use these plain carbon steels depending on the application. Then next is alloy steels. Next is alloy steels. Alloy steels means you are knowing that steel, the stainless steel or that steel material is there, and we can introducing different alloys, that is nickel alloy or chromium alloy or different elements, nickel, chromium, manganese, then titanium. These materials we can introduce to the gear surface so that their strength or surface hardness is getting increased up, so that these gears will not fall. These gears will not fail, sorry. Therefore, next is alloy steels. Alloy steels are used for heavy duty applications. You are knowing that these alloy steel gears you are going to find in maybe cycles or bicycles, then four-wheelers, then some machines are there. Then in case of our workshop, this lathe machine, milling machine, drilling machine, that is their heavy duty applications are there. Therefore, you can choose their different alloy elements, that is 45Cr1, 30 Ni, 4Cr, 30% nickel, 4% chromium. Now, what is the advantage of chromium? Because of chromium material, when we introduce into the steel, that steel becomes stainless steel. Because of this chromium material, there will not be any chances of corrosion. There will not be any chances of corrosion of the gear tooth material. Now next is planetary gear train. Planetary gear trains. Therefore, alloy steel 35 Ni, 1C and 60 crore. Sorry, 35 Ni, 1 chromium and 60% may be carbon. Therefore, at that time, what we have to do? These are planetary gear trains. Planetary gear trains means what? It is known as epicyclic gear train. It is known as epicyclic gear train. Now I will draw the figure of planetary gear train, then you will understand what is meant by epicyclic gear train. Now suppose this is the one gear. Sorry. Planetary gear train means one gear will be exactly at the center, and other three gears are there. They are in contact with each other with this bigger gear. Therefore, the gear which is located at the center, this is known as sun gear. This is known as sun gear, and these are known as planetary gears. These are known as planetary gears. Therefore, we can use these planetary gears, or for planetary gears, we can use alloy steel of 35 Ni, 1 Cr, 60% carbon will be there. Next is for the worm and wear means we can use bronze material. We can use the bronze material for the manufacture of the gears. Therefore, why bronze material is used for the worm and worm wheels? First is low coefficient of friction, excellent conformability, also suitable where corrosion resistance is required, that is water pumps, and drawback is its excessive cost. Drawback is its excessive cost. Therefore, bronze material is having low coefficient of friction, excellent conformability. Also, it is having corrosion resistance. Drawback is excessive cost. Now, where you are finding this use of worm and use of bronze material, you will find its use in worm and worm wheels. Worm and worm wheels. Now, I will show you the diagram of worm and worm wheel. Then you will understand why bronze material is used or phosphor bronze material is used. Now, you just say this is the worm and worm wheel. Therefore, this is known as worm. This is known as worm. And this is known as worm wheel. This wheel is known as worm wheel. Therefore, if you are observing, there are threads on the worm and there are teeth on the worm wheel. Now, this worm and worm wheel is used for high speed reduction ratio. Worm and worm wheel is used for high speed reduction ratio, maybe 1:20, 1:40, 1:50, 1:100. Therefore, these gears, that is worm and worm wheel, are used in material handling equipments. Therefore, you are knowing that because of large speed reduction ratio, more amount of heat is generated. Therefore, more friction will be there and more amount of heat will be generated. And to resist that heat, what will happen if more amount of heat is generated to the gear tooth? Gear tooth surface is going to warp. Warping takes place. Warping म्हणजे काय? In Marathi it is called as पापड भाजणे. पापड भाजल्यानंतर कसं तयार होतो? ओबड दोबड किंवा वाकड तिकडा. त्याला warping phenomenon म्हणतात. तर because of this high speed reduction ratio, there is a more friction is generated at the point of contact. More friction will be generated at the point of contact. Because of more frictional heat, more frictional resistance, more frictional heat is generated. Now we have seen what are the disadvantages of heat. What are the disadvantages of heat? That is, we can there are chances that sporing failure or destructive pitting of the gear tooth takes place. Therefore, to avoid that, phosphor material is used for the manufacture of the gears. Now, next is the high phosphor bronze material is used because of low coefficient of friction and excellent conformability. That phosphor bronze material is having low coefficient of friction and excellent conformability. Also, it is suitable where corrosion resistance is required. It is also suitable where corrosion resistance is required. But what is the drawback? It is having excessive cost. Now, next material is phenolic resins. Phenolic means plastic resins. Therefore, where it is used, phenolic resins or plastic gears you are finding in case of in case of that gear materials, that is gears used for toys, gears used in the CD drives of the central processing unit, or gears used in the laptop, so that CD drive is coming outside. If you will observe carefully, their gears are used. Therefore, for that applications, phenolic resins or plastic is used for the manufacture of gear tooth. Therefore, what are the advantages of phenolic resins? First is low modulus of elasticity. Low modulus of elasticity means what? That Young's modulus. Young's modulus of the gear tooth, that plastic material, is less because it is plastic. Next is work on marginal lubrication. That is, this gears made by plastic material, they can work on small amount of lubrication. Marginal means small amount, and they can tolerate errors in tooth profile. They can they can tolerate the errors in the tooth profile. These are the some advantages of the phenolic resins. Why phenolic resins are used for the gear tooth manufacture. Now next, next point is minimum number of teeth. Next point is minimum number of teeth. Therefore, why minimum number of teeth are required? First of all, I will explain. See that minimum number of teeth are required to avoid undercutting or interference. I will draw here. Sorry. Therefore, this is the gear tooth. Now another gear tooth will be in contact. Another gear tooth is in contact with this gear tooth. Therefore, what is happening? Sometimes this tip of this gear tooth, sometimes this tip of this gear tooth. So again, I will draw here two gears. Therefore, suppose this gear tooth is in contact with this gear tooth. Now, sometimes what is happening? See that. Therefore, what is happening? When this tip of this gear tooth, will come inside of this root of another gear tooth. Therefore, at that time, what will happen? This gear tooth is going, this tip of this gear tooth is going to remove small amount of portion from the base of another gear tooth. Small amount of portion from the base of the gear tooth, and your gear tooth will become like this. Your gear tooth will become like this. Therefore, if that amount of material is removed from the base of the gear tooth, therefore this gear tooth becomes weak, and at that some point is that because of this sudden force or impact force, this gear tooth is going to break at the bottom. Therefore, this phenomenon, that is removing tip of one tooth, cuts or removes some amount of material from the base of another gear tooth, that phenomenon is known as interference. That phenomenon is now known as interference, and that's why this minimum number of teeth concept came. To avoid interference, we must have minimum number of teeth on pinion. To avoid interference, we must have minimum number of teeth on pinion. Therefore, this minimum number of teeth comes into picture during the interference phenomenon or undercutting phenomenon. To avoid this interference phenomenon or undercutting phenomenon, now we have understood what is by interference or undercutting. Earlier, our gear tooth was like this, and due to interference or undercutting phenomenon, what is going to happen? This much amount of material gets removed. Therefore, this gear tooth becomes weak at the base, and there are certain chances that if force will act, this gear tooth is going to break from the base, and that's why minimum number of teeth are provided on the pinion to avoid interference. Minimum number of teeth are provided on the pinion in order to avoid interference. Therefore, there are different minimum number of teeth for different pressure angles. Therefore, formula is Z minimum is equal to 2 divided by sin square alpha, where alpha is the pressure angle. Now, for pressure angle 14.5 degree, Z minimum theoretical is equal to 32. For pressure angle 20 degree, Z minimum theoretical is equal to 17. For pressure angle 25 degree, Z minimum theoretical is equal to 11. Now, Z minimum practical. What are the practical number of teeth that are required? These are upper row indicates theoretical teeth. Now, next is minimum number of teeth practically. Practically, we require 27 number of teeth for 14.5 degree pressure angle. Now, what is my pressure angle? That also I will tell. Pressure angle Therefore, for 20-degree pressure angle, Z minimum theoretical 17, Z minimum practical 14. For 25-degree pressure angle, Z minimum theoretical is 11, Z minimum practical is 9. Therefore, what is the pressure angle that I will tell now? Suppose I will draw the figure here. These two gears are in contact with each other. Therefore, this line is known as, this line, horizontal line, is known as common tangent. This line is known as common tangent. And this is the pitch circle. These two circles are pitch circle. There is another circle at in between pitch circle. That is known as base circle. That is known as base circle. Therefore, another tangent line is there that is tangent to the base circle. This is base circle. This is known as pitch circle. This is known as pitch circle. Now this line is known as common normal. This line is known as common normal. Therefore, angle between common tangent and common normal, that is nothing but this angle, is known as phi. This angle is known as pressure angle. This angle is known as pressure angle. I think you understood what is my pressure angle. Now next point is phase width. Next point is phase width. Therefore, phase width, again I will draw here diagram of gear tooth, then you will understand. Therefore, this width, this much width of the gear tooth, this much width of the gear tooth, that width is known as phase width. That width is known as phase width. Now, what is the importance of this phase width? Now you are knowing that the two gear teeth, when they are in contact with each other, the two gear teeth, when they are in contact with each other, therefore there is a line contact between the two gear teeth. There is a line contact between two gear teeth, and that line contact is along the entire phase width. That line contact is along the entire phase width. Therefore, you can say that this phase width takes whatever load is distributed along on the gear tooth surface. That load is distributed over the entire phase width. The load is distributed over the entire phase width here. Therefore, What will happen if the phase width is too small or too large? If phase width is too much small and phase width is too much large, what will happen? Therefore, if phase width is too much large, that is, if I will increase this phase width, what will happen? See that. If I will increase the phase width like this, now phase width is increased, what is going to happen? Suppose now this tangential load is there. Suppose this tangential load will act on the gear tooth surface like this. Tangential load PT. There are chances that this tangential load will get concentrated at one point only, like this. Therefore, there are chances that this gear tooth will break. Breaking of the gear tooth will take place at the point of contact because of very large phase width. And if the phase width is too large, there is a possibility of concentration of load at one end of the gear tooth due to a number of factors like misalignment, elastic deformation of shafts, and warping of gear tooth. Therefore, because of this concentration of this tangential load at one point, there are chances that breakage of the gear tooth will take place. Now, on the other hand, gears with small phase width. Now, what is the small phase width? Small phase width means, once again I will draw here, gear. Therefore, here now this phase width is decreased. We have decreased this phase width. We have decreased this phase width. Therefore, due to decrease in phase width, what will happen? This gear tooth is not able to resist, or its capacity is reduced to absorb shock and vibration. Shock means force. Shock means what? Force. The ability of this gear tooth to absorb shock and vibration, or the capacity to absorb shock and vibration, will get reduced. Therefore, what will happen? There are chances that wear and tear will take place at a faster rate. If its capacity is reduced, therefore what will happen? There are chances that gear tooth will break like this. Gear tooth will, more breakage of gear tooth will take place, and wear and tear will also faster. Therefore, a narrow phase width results in a coarse pitch. A narrow phase width results in a coarse pitch. A narrow phase width results in a coarse pitch. Therefore, what is the optimum size of the phase width? The optimum size of the phase width is 8 times module less than B less than 12 times module. Therefore, in general, phase width is taken as B is equal to 10 times module. In general, B is taken as, B means phase width is taken as 10 times module. Whether you are understanding or not, please reply in the chat box. Which concept you are not understood? Please write down so that I will teach it again. Hello. Which point you have not understood? Please reply. Hello. Hello. Which point you have not understood so that I can explain? Hello, Rajkumar.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Okay. Kiran Kasgaude. Then Rakesh Birazdar. Will you reply? Hello. Kiran Kasgaude, Rakesh Birazdar. Can you reply? Which point you have not understood? Okay, thank you, thank you. Please give reply so that in between, please give reply so that I will understand that you have understood. Otherwise, I will go forward and you are just listening and afterwards you will complain that we have not understood. Okay, I think you have understood it. This is the significance of phase width. If phase width is too much large, like this, whatever I explained, there are chances that concentration of load will be there at one point, chances of breakage of the tooth due to this load. Then if phase width is too much small, it is not going to absorb shock and vibrations. Shock means force. Therefore, there are chances that this gear tooth will break. If it will not absorb, therefore it is going to break only because strength of the gear tooth is getting reduced. Therefore, this permissible size of phase width is 8 times module, less than B, less than 12 times module. In practice, this phase width is taken as 10 times module. Now next is hunting tooth. Next is hunting tooth. 1 minute. Okay, please wait. Okay, next point is hunting tooth. Now, what is my hunting tooth? Hunting tooth. You are knowing that. Suppose again I will draw the diagram here. Okay, 1 minute. Hunting tooth means what? Suppose I will draw now diagram here. This is suppose pinion. Pinion means smaller gear, and this is gear wheel or wheel. It is nothing but larger gear. Now these two gear teeth are coming in contact at the pitch point P. Now suppose this gear is having 20 teeth and this gear is having 40 teeth. This gear is having 40 teeth. Therefore, what will happen? The two gear teeth, one gear tooth of this gear, one two gear tooth of this gear, will come in contact after every 2 revolutions. After every 2 revolutions of either pinion or either gear. Therefore, what will happen when the two gear teeth are coming in contact? Every after 2 revolutions. Therefore, this contact time is getting increased, or more number of times contact will be there. You are knowing that if the same things are coming in contact with each other, there are chances that wear and tear of the gear tooth takes place. Wear and tear of the gear tooth takes place. Therefore, if to avoid this, what we can do, we can provide an extra tooth. We will provide one extra tooth on this gear wheel. Therefore, on this gear wheel, number of teeth will become 41. On this pinion, number of teeth will become 20. Number of teeth will become 20. Therefore, now if the same pair of gear teeth, they will come in contact after first time. Then after 41 rotations, after 41 rotations of this pinion, same two gear teeth, they will come in contact with each other. Therefore, in earlier case, two gear teeth are coming in contact with each other after 2 revolutions. Now, same pair of gear teeth are coming in contact with each other after 41 revolutions. Means what? We have decreased their contact time. Means we have decreased their that number of rotations required for the pinion and gear to come in contact for the gear teeth. We have decreased their contact time. Means what? After 41 revolutions, these gear teeth are coming. That means what? It will take more time. 41 revolutions means what? If that number of revolutions will increase, means more time will be required to come in contact with each other. And that's why that wear and tear of the gear tooth is getting reduced. And this extra tooth, whatever we have provided, is known as hunting tooth. And it results in more uniform distribution of wear. This is the concept of hunting tooth. Now we will stop today here. I will take your attendance. Please don't leave the class. Please wait.